You can replace this text with any text you wish. You can either write in this text box or paste your own text here. Try different languages and voices. Change the sometimes. The smallest act of kindness can touch a heart that has forgotten how to feel. When a billionaire father secretly watched a struggling waitress feed his disabled son with love and patience, something inside him broke and changed forever. It was a rainy afternoon. The city streets shimmered with reflections of passing cars, and a small roadside diner stood glowing warmly in the gray drizzle. Inside, a young waitress named Lena was rushing between tables. Her apron was old, her shoes worn out, but her smile never faded. She had been working double shifts for months, just to afford her mother's medicines and rent. At a corner table, a young boy sat quietly in a wheelchair. His name was Ethan. His legs were weak from birth, but his eyes sparkled with life. Beside him sat a tall man in a crisp black suit. David, a billionaire businessman known for his cold heart and silence. They didn't look like a father and son at first glance. David was always on his phone, busy, detached. Ethan sat there with his head slightly down, waiting for his dad to notice him, but he rarely did. When Lena came to take their order, she noticed Ethan's shy smile. "Hey there, champ," she said softly. "What would you like today?" Ethan whispered, "Pancakes, but I can't eat by myself." Lena's smile faded for a second, then she knelt beside him. "That's okay," she said kindly. "I'll help you." David barely looked up. He was reading stock reports. Lena brought the food, cut the pancakes into small bites, and gently fed Ethan. Every bite came with laughter, every sip of juice with a little story. Ethan's face lit up, and for the first time in months, he laughed out loud. From across the table, David watched silently. No one, not his nannies, not his assistants, not even his friends, had ever taken the time to care for Ethan like that. He put his phone down. His heart felt heavy. "Why are you doing this?" he asked finally. Lena looked up, a little confused. "Because he deserves to eat with happiness. Every child does." David didn't reply, but something in her tone, that gentle certainty, stirred something deep inside him. When David went to pay the bill, he saw Lena counting coins behind the counter. Her hands trembled slightly. She was short on change. "Everything okay?" he asked. She gave an embarrassed smile. "Just a tough week. My mom's been sick, and I can't miss work." David nodded slowly, pretending not to care. But as he walked out of the diner with Ethan, he couldn't shake her words. That night, he couldn't sleep. The image of Lena feeding Ethan kept replaying in his mind. The kindness, the patience, the warmth he hadn't seen in years. The next morning, David told Ethan, "We're going to have breakfast at that diner again." Ethan's eyes widened with joy. "Really, Dad?" When they arrived, Lena was wiping tables, exhausted but smiling as always. She greeted them warmly, just like before. This time, David sat beside Ethan. He picked up the fork, awkwardly, unsure, and began feeding his son himself. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. "You never did that before," David's voice broke. "I know, son, but I should have." Lena turned away, pretending not to watch, her heart swelling. Later that day, David quietly asked the diner manager about Lena. He found out she'd been struggling to pay rent, and her mother's treatment was overdue. Without telling her, David made a few calls. The next morning, Lena received a letter. Her mother's hospital bills had been paid in full. Attached was a note. "Kindness like yours deserves the world's kindness back. A grateful father." Tears rolled down her face. She looked outside the diner window and saw David and Ethan waving at her from their car. Ethan held up a small sign he'd written, "Thank you for feeding me with love." Weeks later, David returned again, but this time not as a customer. He approached Lena with an offer. "I'm opening a new charity foundation for single parents, caregivers, and special needs children. I want you to help me run it." Lena gasped. "Me? But I'm just a waitress." David smiled softly. "You're the reason I remembered what being a father means. You're exactly who this world needs." Ethan rolled his wheelchair closer and took her hand. "Please say yes," he said. "You're our friend now." Lena's tears fell freely as she whispered, "Yes." Sometimes it isn't money or power that changes a life. It's kindness. One small act of love can heal a broken heart, rebuild a family, and remind us all what truly matters. So next time you see someone struggling, don't look away, because your kindness might just change their world forever.